Hey everyone, welcome to the Wednesday, May 28th edition of Speaker Co-working. I am Ron Story. I work at SpeakerHub along with Angela. We help speakers to get booked on more speaking gigs, podcasts, interviews, press coverage, so that not only can you get paid from speaking, but you can speak to get paid. You can sell more of your products and services. Unlike a lot of other places, we don't do a lot of how to write a speech. We show you how to make money from the knowledge that you already have. Because keynote speaking isn't the only type of speaking. You can be an instructor, you can be an author, you can, be a panelist. It's not always going to be a keynote speech. So learning to monetize your knowledge is our modus operandi here at SpeakerHub. So we always start off with people talking about any recent wins, any upcoming speaking events they have, any podcast interviews, any new clients they've landed. So if you all have anything and you want to share, this is the time. Valencia seems like she trying to find the unmute. She's like, what
Yeah.
unmute? I got something to tell y'all. I can see it.
Now, I just finished up a podcast, which was great. I also moved into a new place today. And so this podcast had been on the books already, and I was really scrambling to be ready for it. And I got ready for it. I mean, it was like go time, and boom, I turned it on, and it really was fantastic. It was great. It was a good podcast.
No, it's incredible. That's a big deal. High five, high five. So most people we think podcasts are a great way to share your information, to get more clients, and it's a stage. We don't, anytime somebody invites you to share your point of view, that's a stage to me, right? So Bonnie, high five, Valencia. Bonnie, what's up?
Hey, I have the privilege of being on Jadika's podcast this afternoon, and I can't wait because I know it's going to rock. Woohoo! And I'm getting a lot of like in-person and local stuff. I attended a fundraiser for the Colorado Women's Correctional Facility last night and talked to the comedian who was performing and ended up walking out with a podcast with that person. So it's happening all over the place.
That's it. What's look? Let me tell you, it's like the when you got the glow, you got that Bruce Leroy glow, and it's like
Irresistible, man. It's irresistible.
it's it. It's the momentum, man. It's just the momentum. Energy is attractive, and I'm a firm believer that if you're putting out the energy that you want to be booked, all of a sudden your eyes open up to opportunities you didn't see, and you start getting
Amen.
crazy. What can it hurt? I was going to introduce myself. Maybe, you know, maybe this will turn into something. So, high five, Bonnie, for the activity. Bonnie's activity has increased a lot over the last 2 months, in particular. All of her preparation paid off. She did a bunch of prep in January and February, both mentally, spiritually, emotionally, technologically, and look at her. Now she's rolling. And that's a lot of that is a big thanks to the community, to you guys showing up every day, showing your work, talking about your wins, always being encouraging to one another and saying you can do it. Because again, this is a lonely business. The speaking business it can be a business of isolation. To your clients, you're an expert. To your family, you're a know-it-all, right? So it's kind of hard you're kind of by yourself. To your peers, you're a peer. But I think having this community where people can hop in and just say, look, dude, I was scared, but I did it is really important. So this is where we normally allow people. Are there any other wins before we go into introductions?
Yeah, I got a win, man.
All right, what up?
Everybody. Got an email actually last week, but I was traveling, so I didn't get a chance to see it until yesterday. Congratulations. We're happy to announce that your workshop proposal has been accepted to be presented at the 21st Annual Mental Health and Substance Use Recovery Conference,
Look
October
at that.
16th to the 17th, man. So yeah, that's a big win. I'm excited about that, man. Deliver my message at a conference. This is my first one. like this.
How dope was that? So
Oh,
John, did you dance at Salsa Congress this weekend? You sent me
I
photos. He had
I
on this
sure
sparkly suit like he was about one of the five tops.
I sure did. I sure did. We danced until 4 a.m., brother. And Saturday morning, my kids had me up all night. I danced the whole weekend, man. I went back home to LA, and yeah, that's what I do, man. I had a good time.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a competition or whatever. I'm not familiar with how Salsa Congress goes, but he sent me these photos. I was like, look at this, man. He had on purple. He looked like Prince.
Oh man, that Prince, brother. Come on, man. You got me wanting to show people. You got it all twisted.
Come on, show him, man. This is me egging you on, man.
Where's let me find it real
Show him
quick.
the
I have it right
photos,
here.
man.
I wasn't I wouldn't call myself Prince, man. Come
Well, I
on, man.
mean, well, Prince had hair, so of course,
Yeah, this is me and my girls. Can you guys see that?
Look at him. He was out there shining.
Yeah, that was the World Salsa Congress in Los Angeles. My daughter's dance, and we've been missing dancing. So yeah, man, it was a good
That was
weekend.
incredible. That's a beautiful picture, man. Beautiful family.
Thank
You
you,
know,
man. Thank you. It was super cool, man. But yeah, that's a big win for me, man. I'm excited. I got several other proposals out for conferences. Hopefully, I get more accepted. So that was the first of many, hopefully. So
when does that conference come up?
says October 16th through the 17th,
Yep. And when did you submit?
probably in April, I think.
Yep. So that follows our 6 month timeline, guys.
Yep.
We always talk about 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 quarters. If you're pitching a podcast, you can probably get booked in 2 weeks. If you're pitching an association, it's going to take you 2 months. They probably already got their June speaker, so you're going to be the July speaker at the association. If you're pitching a conference, it's going to be 2 quarters because they need 2 months to go through their 1,800 applications. And then they're going to decide on their speakers about 4 months ahead of time, like they're doing now. And the decision was made in May, but the conference isn't until October, right? So if you stay within that recipe of the time frames, then your expectations don't get killed because you're pitching out of season, right? There's mango season, strawberry season, orange season. There's seasons for everything, but there's also a thing called conference season. So you got to be 6 months ahead of your conference that you're pitching for. You can't be on May 28th trying to pitch a conference for July. It's going to be tough, especially if you're trying to get paid, right? So high five. Let's go to some introductions. We got Greg and we got Shanna. Let's go with Shanna first. Tell us where you are, where you're from, what you talk about, and how we can help.
Yeah, hello everybody. This is my first time here, obviously. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and I am a leadership development, team engagement, and professional training coach. And so I do keynote speeches on things like generational differences in the workplace and how to impact your organization positively through presentations. I do a lot on young rising leaders, how to work with the next gen and how to get them to leadership ready. And Salvatore Monzi is my speech coach. And so he said, you got to do this. And so here I am. He said it yesterday. We had lunch yesterday. He's like, you got to do this. I'm here today. So
cool.
Excited to
I'm
learn.
glad you showed up. Salvatore is speaking at our Pro Speaker Summit.
He's incredible. He's an incredible speech coach. He's helped me a ton in a lot of my work, but he's also super pumped about this program because he's like got 18 podcasts booked in the last month. So he's killing it.
Yeah, he comes on and he tells us about it. He's been pitching. And that's one of the big things that we've set ourselves apart. Our last conference was called Proactive, and that's when we introduced our Proactive pitching system that allows you to pitch podcasts, associations, press coverage, and conferences. So you're not waiting on someone to pick you, right? When I asked John, he didn't wait on them to discover him dancing, right? He sent in an application, sent in an email, filled out all the information. So it's about proactivity. We're not famous enough for people to search us out, right? So I used to be an insurance broker, and then I'll get into Greg. I used to be an insurance broker, and people say, "Well, what is it? What's the difference between an insurance broker and an insurance agent?" Nothing. right? Right. The question is, what is an agent? And the job of an agent is to take in opportunities, filter them, and give you the ones that fit for you. So when I worked in insurance, I had 50 companies I represented. But if Greg were to come to me and say, "Hey, I want auto insurance," I'm not sending things out to all 50 because some of them are commercial, some of them are life insurance, some of them are health insurance, and then some of them are home and auto. So I go through the opportunities and I filter them down to the ones that work for Greg. Does that make sense? That's the job of an agent. The Rock, the musician, I mean, the movie star, um, wrestler, and all of that. His agent isn't pitching him because he's famous. He already has demand coming in. His job is to filter that demand down to the ones that fit The Rock. As speakers, a lot of times we don't have enough demand to really need an agent. So we have the wrong expectations of what an agent should do for us. We think our agent should pitch us. That ain't the agent's job. The agent, just like in science, if you put an agent in something, it disperses the stuff. That's the same thing that an agent does. It's if you don't have the traffic, the agent has no work. Your agent's job is not to pitch you. It's to filter the traffic you already have, right? But as new speakers, guess what? Are unfamous people, people that aren't famous and in the limelight already, we got to go out and generate that demand. And as we keep pitching 100, 200 opportunities a month, now you got too much. And you're like, shoot, I got 18 podcasts. I don't know if I can do any more right now because I've pitched too many. Or I've been on 15 stages this year. I already got these booked. I can't even do all of them. I need to pass them off to somebody else. But we got to do the demand gen first. Is that making sense, guys? So a lot of us don't like that part because that's where the rejection is introduced. That's when people tell us no, because we think we're really good, but they may not. They may not believe that. Well, I may be really good, but I may not be a good fit. Does that make sense? So there are certain things that Jadika is good at, but she may not be a good fit at a car mechanics conference. That says nothing about what Jadika is a genius at. It just says she's not a good fit. But if she takes that personal, then she's out of the business. Now, can Jadika help car mechanics? Yes. They use them tools all day. They definitely got carpal tunnels and need a massage, but it's her job to communicate how massage and proper posture and things like that can relieve the pain of people who are bent over working on a car all day or lifting up heavy transmissions. That's our job as a speaker to learn to communicate our value. Is this making sense? So I want to bring that up because I think sometimes we get discouraged. Oh man, they didn't want me. No, either you pitched too late, you didn't pitch specific enough around how you could actually help them. You gave them your generic pitch and they didn't have the foresight to see how that applied to them. Does that make sense? Or when they went to look you up, they saw somebody that had already been on 40 podcasts and you had only done one. So they were like, we're going to go with the person that has all the social proof. Does that make sense? So this is what we teach here at SpeakerHub. We want you to build this momentum like Salvatore is doing, like everyone on this call, basically, of being proactive because ain't nobody handing out dreams. I got to go get it. So Greg, you want to tell us a little bit about you? I can introduce you, but I think you'll do it better than me. Greg Coleman.
Thanks, Ron. It's been a minute, as you mentioned. Based in Jacksonville, Florida. Spent about 45 years in Minneapolis, chasing a dream, which I caught. Spent 12 years in the NFL as the first African-American punter. Parlayed that with a broadcast career of 21 years, simultaneously a 25-year career in sales and marketing in a Fortune 500 communications company. Been speaking a while, but honing the business in who this message is for, the power of teamwork and a resilient mindset. Wrote my first book here last year. use the fuel of being a part of the broadcast team for the Vikings. That was a lot of the gas that fueled the engine. Now stepping away, retired from that maybe 3 years ago. Got to find a new type of gasoline. So trying to fit this new pivot to what was started out gangbusters. But as you say, the mountain won't come to you, so you got to go to the mountain. So I think SpeakerHub is a vehicle that will get me to the mountain.
Yeah, we're here to help. We're here to help. One of your counterparts, John was in the NFL also. John, how long did you play, John?
5 years.
Okay. And I think Greg was with the Vikings, right?
Correct. Spent 10 with Minnesota, 1 in Cleveland, and 1 in Washington.
All right. And where'd you play, John?
LA Raiders, Houston Oilers, 3 years in Canada. I'm here to help you, Greg, if you need anything, man. Power to the ball heads. This the crew.
Without question, my brother. I will definitely.
Anything you need, brother, reach out.
Lifelong learner, so you're never too old to learn.
Yes,
no,
sir.
That's good. That's good. Any other? I don't see any other new people. Everybody else in here already know. But yeah, no, you guys are in the right place. And SpeakerHub is going through a metamorphosis. We introduced proactive pitching last year, which was great. But Greg said something that I think is even more interesting as to the direction we're going, is most speakers have something other than their voice. They have a coaching program. They have trainings. They have books. They have other forms of intellectual property. And there's a guy named Stephen Covey who unfortunately passed away in 2012, but his core intellectual property, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, last year generated $287 million. And it's a publicly traded $450 million company on the New York Stock Exchange. He hasn't spoken in 13 years, right? So we all have a message that should outlive us if we put the foundation in place to allow that message to keep going after us. So if all that we are using to promote what we do or our intellectual property is just only using our voice, we're not putting it in recordings, we're not putting it in other forms of distribution, you're not only doing yourself a disservice, you're doing your family a disservice. How many of y'all ever heard of Picasso and these artists? They was dead before they became famous. I'm serious. They weren't famous while they was alive. Nobody was praising Jean-Michel Basquiat while he was alive. But now everybody has Basquiat t-shirts. He's in every Jay-Z song. He even got if you look at Jean-Michel Basquiat and Jay-Z has almost stole his character. Wouldn't got the same braids, talks about it, all of his art. So a lot of times we think, oh, it's only if I show up live. No, it's about the legacy. What are you going to leave? All this stuff that you've dedicated your life to learning and putting into this framework, is it going to die with you? And our job at SpeakerHub is to make sure that it doesn't, right? We're here to encourage you to. Now, can we force you to do it? Nope, we can't. But I promise you, SpeakerHub will outlive me. As long as there are humans who want to share their voice, and I have control of this company, we have put the things in place that I get run over tomorrow. Angie will be here. She may cry for 20 minutes, but afterwards she's going to be right on this call tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Right? And we're going to keep our product plans that we have. It's going to keep going. Right? But we had to make that decision to put the people and the foundation in place. So that's our job with you guys, is to help you all to think differently. Because you already got I don't need to teach Shauna nothing about what she knows in her area. I need to show her how to take that joint to the moon. Right? How does this become something where she has Weber certified facilitators that are teaching her philosophies? Where Greg has Coleman certified facilitators that are going out going into the schools, doing NFL trainings, going over to NHL, NBA, where it's just not him, but they're teaching how is he the Jackie Robinson of punters. There's some lessons in that. There's some things he dealt with that the punters today don't even think about dealing with. But if we don't show the vision, if I don't have an example, hey, my team would tell you I am a copy and paste. Everything you see as SpeakerHub, I done stole it. I done looked at somebody else's stuff and said, yep, we need that. Put it on ours. They put mustard on their hot dogs. Let's try it. They like relish. Let's try it. Why? Because there's nothing new under the sun. They stole it from somebody too.
Ron, there's a book that's called Steal Like an Artist.
Oh, I got that.
And
I got this whole series right over here.
Nothing new under the sun.
Right.
But if you guys can teach me or help me teach organizations and associations how to punt, because if fourth down is going to come for everybody. So you got to pivot, you got to punt, you got to do those things to buy yourself a little time. And there's a strategy to it. So that's why I'm, excited to be a part of this community.
What's the name of your book?
It's called Punt.
Okay.
And their acronyms for that. P is push through obstacles. N, you understanding your strengths. N, navigate through the crap of life. And then T, take calculated risk. And there's a whole series of workshops that I've just started creating since I talked to you about that, that other source of income, because I'm not going to be speaking forever.
Yep. Yeah. And you got to remember, let me tell y'all something. Everybody talk about pivot, right? Pivot is a basketball term, right? And it talks about you're on the block, you're going not without traveling, you want to reposition yourself. And the professional basketball player can tell us about that, right? But it became synonymous with business because of the startup community. And a pivot meant, okay, we're going down this direction. We think this is our customer, but we need to turn a little bit because it's really not them. And then we got to maybe have to turn again. So this became synonymous with startup culture and entrepreneurship. But I think, Greg, the same way that pivot became popular, punting is really important. Some stuff you just got to kick out. I just got to get rid of that. Like, I ain't pivoting. I need to punt that one, give that back and figure it out, get on defense, right? So I think that there's a lot of that new terminology and mindset that you can really kill with, and what I mean by kill, like dominate with podcast, right? Because that's how you introduce new ideas into the world, right? There was a funny thing that said, there's a meme that says black people and white people say the same things, but they just mean the opposite, right? So it says, man, she looks really nice. Black people say, man, she was bad. Like totally the same thing, right? Yo, man, what did it say? What was another? It's like a whole list of terms. It's like, I'll be there in a minute, right? But then the white people say, I'll be there in a little while. But black folks, a minute mean a little while. It don't mean literally a minute. Somebody tell you they 5 minutes away, it's 45 minutes. It's 5 minutes of the basketball game. It's 5 minutes and both teams got all their timeouts. That's 5 minutes in black people's minds, right? But it's just these terms that are introduced into the world and into society. You ever heard somebody say, my bad, right? Y'all know who started that? Manute Bol, the 7'6" basketball player. Manute Bol, English wasn't his first language. And he would make a mistake. He'd say, my bad. He was trying to say my fault or I'm sorry, but he'd say my bad. And it became a popular basketball term, but it was just his broken English. So you just never know who's magnifying or amplifying your ideas and your voices. Punting, I'm gonna start using that. Yeah, we need to punt on this, right? Now I use a bunch of other 4-letter words instead of punt. I'm gonna use punt instead of the 4-letter words. I used to use the word start with F, like F that. We ain't doing that. Now I'm gonna say, go and put that one, right? Because that's a bit as Ed McNeil told me, I got to work on my language and adopt better words in the way I communicate. So I'm gonna do that. But Greg, I think you got a huge opportunity with podcast, right? And then taking those, because you already got the skills, right? But the way you get into corporate is doing association gigs where all the executives are there and then they bring you in to talk to their sales team or their marketing team. But we think, oh, I got to find the learning and development person at this company. Well, they got 20 of them. And which one of the 20 people in the learning and development department is going to decide on the speaker for that event? We don't know. But if I can get somebody that heard me speak at a local association meeting and they can take that into the company and recommend me because of the impact I was able to have on them. And I gave them my book, Punt. Yesterday, I shared the book Power of Two with my team, right? So within teams and leaderships, we share books and ideas all the time, right? Our previous book was Unreasonable Hospitality, right? So we use that. We use the TED Talk of that, but it's a book also. But what I've learned with my team, I got to read the book myself and then give them the cliff notes or the YouTube summary and then let them go get it if they want it. But that's how I introduce ideas and concepts. Hey guys, can y'all take 8 minutes to read this? Now, they don't know if I'm gonna ask them questions about it, but every once in a while I do, just to see if they read it. You should see them. They be like, oh shoot, I didn't know he wanted me to read that. But that's part of it. So punting, I think, is a great philosophy, but you have to be able to get it out into the world. It can't just be, I'll talk about it when they pay me to talk about it. Does that make sense? Let me show you why. And let me go to SpeakerHub, right? So we figured out some things that I think are unique. We found out that most speakers weren't getting paid a lot up front anymore. Airbnb really did a number on the speaking industry. Why? Because the cost of conferences are higher than ever. The rooms that they used to give away for free because you booked a conference at their place and all your people are going to be living there, they would give you the banquet room for free in exchange for bringing the conference. Now that same banquet room is $20,000 a day. Over a 3-day conference, you out at $60,000 just on hosting, and they ain't not even giving your people a discount on the rooms. So conferences became profit centers, so the stages became profit centers to the conference. If we look at, we sponsored an event last year, Influence. 50% of the stages at NSA Influence were sponsored stages. So if the premier organization for speakers are selling half of their stages to marketers, what are the smaller groups doing? So the fees are going down. 78% of speakers make under $25,000 a year. 90% make under $50,000. 75% of speakers are not doing 10 gigs. People will come on, man, I only did 8. I'm just kind of getting started. I'm like, dude, you're above average. They're surprised. I'm like, no, you winning. If you did 8 gigs last year, you're in the top 25%. And half of speakers get paid less than $1,000 per speaking gig up front. Right? Now, where do we get this data? We surveyed over 2,500 speakers, actually 2,835 in the last 2 months. And we put all the data out here so that you all can see it and understand what's actually happening in the industry, because we be starting to feel bad because of what we imagine, not what's actually happening. Does that make sense? But when we look at these speakers, the Dave Ramseys, the Tony Robbins, the Lisa Nichols, these guys all speak to sell. Right? We know them as, oh, they're popular. Yeah, they used to be the traditional speaker who got paid up front, but they weren't making much at the end because they were just getting paid to come and talk. The entrepreneurs saw that and said, well, look, I'll pay you. If you got a room full of accountants and I sell to accountants, I'll pay you to get on stage. You don't have to pay me nothing. I'm going to sell my book in the back of the room and I'm going to get accounting clients on the back side. So it was a lot of traditional speakers and entrepreneurs. But we say you should do both of them. Don't just do one or the other. Do both of them. Get paid up front and sell on the backside. The only difference is the mindset and how you approach it. So the traditional speaker usually waits on inbound. They're going to sit back and wait on somebody to find them. They join a directory like SpeakerHub and they just wait. Right? Our entrepreneurial speakers, they say, look, I'm used to doing sales. I ain't afraid to get rejected. Can you just give me access to your list of organizers? We said, yeah. So they're like, look, I don't even need to be paid. I just want to get in front of my audience so I can sell my training. Right? Shanna, do you offer a training course? What does it cost?
Well, it depends. I offer a couple, but one-on-one coaching for a 6-month stint's about 10 grand.
Okay. And what do you get paid in your speaking fees?
Depends. I do some that are about 3,500 for about 3 hours. Keynotes are typically about 2 grand.
Okay. And when they pay you up front, do they let you sell?
Yes, typically.
Okay. Right. So you're one of the both of them speakers. You're doing both of them. You're getting the money up front and the stuff on the back. Right.
And I've definitely done some for free in order to get into the crowd. So yeah, I'm not ashamed to do that if it's the right crowd.
100%. If you're gonna make some money, I don't care when you pay me. I just care that you pay me.
Yeah.
Right. So the way that we look at this is we say, look, we have a great directory with 64,000 speakers. We get about 10,000 visitors to that directory every day with people looking for speaking gigs. But what if you could proactively pitch on your own? Right? Doing podcasts, getting in the media. You know, they pay to write. They pay up to $2 a word for these articles in Forbes and Fortune and Business Insider. They pay you for those articles. When they introduce you as Forbes contributor Shanna Weber, that's totally different than just Shanna Weber. That Forbes contributor or Success Magazine contributor, that means something. We call that event planner insurance. The event planner don't really have to explain that you know what you're talking about because the credentials already speak for themselves. This isn't the same as seen in. We get a lot of that as seen in. That ain't what we do over here. That's cool, but that ain't what we want. We want you actually writing. Like, let me show you here. So you can see, you know, Ashley is a writer for success. That's one of our clients, right? So when we see her on the front page, we're like, oh, that's cool, right? But yeah, so this is Kamanzi, who's interviewing Mark Cuban. He's able to do that because Success Magazine set this up for him to interview Mark Cuban, right? So that writing thing has its privileges, right? But that's what we teach. How do you pitch this is Forbes Women. Wouldn't it be dope for you to write for Forbes Women, Shanna? Incredible, right? We can show you how to do this, right? That's what we did here with Rachel. So this is a part of SpeakerHub. You get to be a part of this community where we want you getting paid writing, but that little boost Forbes Women's contributing, like, dang, she write for Forbes. They look at you differently. Not my fault. It's just how the world is. Make sense? So that's part of the flywheel, right? That's part of why we teach this entire thing, because that's the difference maker in getting the bigger stages, a lot of times, raising your fees and getting the corporate gigs, because they need to explain and justify why this is a good bet more than, because there's people with equally good content, right? But they're like, oh, let's justify why we're giving her 10 grand instead of just giving this dude over here 3,500. Well, she writes for Forbes. Bring her in. She may be interesting. They listen just a little bit more. So this is called the speaker flywheel, right? And I'm going to get into this and show you all where we're going, because it is a huge game changer what we're building. The future of SpeakerHub is around helping you to sell more products and services. Right? So let me show you how we do this with the speaker page. Right? So I'm going to bring up 1 second here. I'm going to bring up the new speaker page, not the old one. I'm going to bring up the new one so you all can see where we're going with this. Right? So this is a demo of it. It'll be live in the next couple of weeks, but this is basically the speaker page. This is where the event planners will find you. They can buy your courses and they can buy your books directly from your speaker page. So you heard John said that they wanted him to do a workshop. Imagine if John put a free workshop or a free training on here for the event planners to test them out. Right? So that he knows, oh, well, yeah, they checked out my workshop. Yeah, I want him to come teach this at my thing. Now, that workshop may not be available anywhere else but on SpeakerHub. Does that make sense? But if they want to see your speaker reel, boom, we make you front and center. Right? I got to be able to get out of here. They won't let me out. They got me trapped. Right? So, how do I get out of here, guys? 1 second here. Somehow I'm still logged in here and I can't get out. All right. Yeah, log me out. All right. So let me bring this back so you can see what I'm talking about. All right. Here's what the profile looks like, right? So it shows everything that we need about you, but we allow you to sell your products and services. This is super duper 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 important, right? But the other thing is, what does it look like on mobile? So here's what it looks like on mobile. Let me refresh because we got a new view that we've been working on because we want you to be able to sell your products and services. So this is the mobile view. Right off the bat, there's your books and your courses. So that, because the people who are looking at it online, those are event planners. The people that are looking at it on their phone, those are potential customers. Does that make sense? So they don't need to see all of that speaker reel stuff. It's all there. We just hide it. Right? So we want them to see your books and your courses because that's what they're looking to buy. They may not make it to the table in the back of the room, but they can use the QR code to go ahead and buy. Right? So that is the new speaker page and what it's going to look like. So we call that inbound. That's how you get found, so forth and so on. On the other side is outbound. Outbound is where Bonnie gets booked, Lawrence gets booked, John, everybody on here. They're using SpeakerHub Pro for outbound. Lawrence, you want to go ahead and ask a question before I get into what outbound does?
Well,
look who at the top. You see, look who at the top, Shana. Salvatore. You see him?
Yeah. I just had a comment about the outbound and how great that's been for me lately. So I've been having multiple podcasts that I've reached out to say, oh, we already seen you on this podcast. We want you. So it makes it so much easier not only to get booked on podcasts, but associations, because as they've already just watched you for a half hour, they know exactly what to expect. And now I've had a few other associations reach out to me lately because they saw me on a conference I did months ago, or they saw me on a podcast somewhere, or they randomly stumbled onto me on TikTok, or their friend sent them a video or something. So SpeakerHub is fantastic.
No, I appreciate that, Lawrence. Thanks. I'm gonna send you the $3 that we paid for you to give us that advertisement. Thank you so much. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. No, I appreciate all the good support. Lawrence is one of our speaker scholars. Anybody that's under the age of 22, we give them access to all of SpeakerHub's tools for free until they turn 22. So if you know an entrepreneur or a speaker that's under 22 that wants to use podcasting, press, or public speaking as a way to be a better influence and leader to the youth, to their peers, send them to speakerscholarship.com. We will give them access to every tool we have at SpeakerHub for free until they turn 22, right? So here's outbound. I want to show you this, Shannon. Have you seen this before? Okay, so here's Salvatore. He's up here at the top next to Michael Levin. Let me show you how this works. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put in, is it Weber or Weber?
Doesn't help if you can't hear me. Weber.
Okay, Shannon Weber. And what's the name of your business, Shannon?
Prima Consulting, Prima.
Prima.
Consulting.
And you're out of
Denver.
That's where Bonnie's over by Denver. And so is Kevin. And speaker consultant, speaker coach.
Speaker coach.
Okay. Speaker and coach. And if you had to sum up what you do in one sentence, what would you say? You help who to do what?
I help professionals advance their career.
And you have your own framework that you use?
Mhm.
Okay. Using what's the framework?
Leadership first.
Okay. All right, cool. You have a website?
Yep.
PrimaConsulting.com?
swprima.com.
All right. And are you on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Let's see, Shannon Weber, LinkedIn. Prima Consulting, there it is. Bam. So this is our outbound system. And when I used to run an agency, I had to go out and look up all your stuff and stalk people online and write a bio for them and figure out all this crap. Now we just use AI to do it. So what it's doing is going to your website, it's looking at your LinkedIn, it's searching for what we can find online. And in about 30 seconds, this pre-Geist thing is going to be changed to something about Shannon Weber. Give it a couple seconds there, and you're going to see that in a moment. There it is, right? So can you read through that really quickly and let me know if you think that's accurate?
Yep.
Right? So while you were reading that, our AI in the background was matching you with the podcast that you should go on. So instead of you having to search through 3.5 million podcasts, we're already showing you the leadership podcast we think you would be a great guest on. Right? So if I click here on the talent development hot seat, I can come in, I can listen to the podcast right here. And if it's one that I want to go on, all I do is add it to a list and I click pitch. Right? So what it's doing now is looking at your profile, looking at that opportunity, and it's writing the email that should go out. So give it about 2 more seconds, and we should have an email right here. Hey, Andy, I hope this finds you well, so forth and so on.
Cool.
Right? Look at Greg. Greg is like, what type of sorcery is this?
I'm like, I don't have to do anything anymore. Yay.
Right? So just that quick, we've already written the email that should go out. When we look at associations, we've already searched through. We're giving you the associations you should go talk to. If you want to override it and you say, I want to go talk to basketball moms, type in basketball. It will bring up all the basketball associations we have. He wants to go talk at football academies. Type in football. We bring them all up. And you can reach out directly to them. You want to reach out to Steve Hatchell? Go on over here, add it to a list, and go give a talk with Steve about how you help do what you do, Shannon. Right? So give it 10 more seconds. It's going to write a customized pitch. There's no template. So John is going to send something different. Valencia going to send something different. Shannon's going to send something different. See that? Make sense? So that's just the beginning. Once that email is sent, it comes over here into our mailbox, right? So let's say I already have a meeting set up to meet with Sarah Archer at the speaking club. Well, when I come in, it's going to automatically give me the topics I should talk about with Sarah based on what I talk about and what the organization is about. So let me go ahead and adjust these for Shanna because that was for someone else. Now it's looking at that podcast and say, what would be the topics for Shanna to go talk about with them? So you're prepared for that meeting. Right? So you're not caught off guard. Well, what do I talk to them about? Here it is. Leadership and self-awareness. Is that something you can cover? Boosting confidence in public speaking. Can you cover that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. So we want you to be prepared to go to that meeting to win. Got it?
That's really neat. That's awesome.
Right? But wait, there's more. Once you get the gig, you trying to sell some books and some coaching. So we give you the QR code for people to leave you a review because you need the testimonials. But they also can download your book, but you get their information. So they go and they leave you a testimonial. You can see Ann McNeil said, no comment. Perfectly fine. Right? But Willie Blue said, great job. Looking for more like this. Perfect. But guess what I can do? I can come on here and reach out to Willie and follow up. Since he left me a 5-star review, left me a great comment, it's only right that I follow up with him because he may become a client of mine. He said he was looking for more like this. Hey, Willie, hope this finds you well. I want to express my gratitude for your wonderful feedback and the 5-star review. Your comment, great job, looking for more like this. That made my day, man. I'm always inspiring to know that my work resonated with you and that you're interested in more of what I offer. That's a sales email, guys. Already built in. Right? Already built in. All I got to do is send it. Right? Now, let's say, for instance, I didn't have a framework. Right? Shanna said she had the leadership first framework. But let's say she didn't have one. We go ahead and we create a framework that you can use to take to the stage. Greg has punt. This one will come up with something else. It came up with the guide framework. Goals, unlock, innovate, decide, and execute. Right? We also believe that there's only 3 talks that have ever been given in life. You can help someone to be a better leader. You can help them to improve a skill, and you can help them to make money. So we take your signature talk and give it to you from those 3 perspectives. So you can go talk to the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, and the Night Scouts. I don't care. You can talk to all of them because we've given you those 3 different perspectives on the same talk. Is this fair? Thoughts, ideas, comments? I mean, it's early. We ain't even got started yet. I can show you some magic, but we'll hold off for right now. Go ahead. This is Greg. What's your thoughts, man?
My freaking head is about to explode.
That's good. I hope that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Knowing my limitations in terms of what you did, how fast you did it, is my only concern. If I had a game plan, I can follow that. But that magic that you just created was unbelievable.
Incredible. That's what we like to hear. And we blame all of the things that you just saw on you guys. We built what you guys asked for, right? You mentioned game plan. We got game plans. Depending on what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to do podcasts, we know how many pitches you need to send to get booked. If you're trying to do podcasts and associations, we got the pitch game plan. You're trying to get into media. You're trying to do conferences. We got the game plan already. Right? So we've put together all of our frameworks. We make them public, right? Because we believe look, hey, if we can help more people get on stage, y'all going to tell more people about us, just like Salvatore told Shauna, right? And it all starts with us one-to-one conversations. That's what we learn. Those 3,000 or 2,800 interviews, one-to-one. I met with those people. I met with 700 of them, face to face. Right. And then we take that knowledge and we take it to a podcast. A podcast is a one-to-one conversation being shared with many people. Once you have that validation, now you go write about it. And then that's where the speaking gigs start propelling, because they're seeing you in all these other forms of media. Because there's 1.5 million speakers. Everybody want to speak because they think it's just people sprinkling money on folks, but they don't want to do the building up to get the platform to stand on with that voice. Right. So that's what we help you to build. And we try to give you all of the tools we have. This is, I think, 20 of our 70 or so, 22. We have about 70 frameworks that we're developing, right? These are the 22 that we've made public, but we're constantly testing them with you guys, working on them, trying to make it better based on the results.
And the support comes from this community of people, or is there another avenue?
Yeah, there's two other ways, right? So this is our daily call that anybody can come to, whether they're a SpeakerHub customer or not, right? The next level, once we introduce our courses and things of this sort with the new profile, because we're still working on it. But once this is released at the Pro Speaker Summit in a couple of weeks, there's communities inside. So if you're a beginning speaker, we have a track for you. If you're an emerging speaker, we have a track. If you're experienced, we have a track. If you're elite, we have a track. Does that make sense? Based on what level speaker you are.
Yeah,
we allow you to select on your own. We're not going to tell you can't go to one group or another. You pick itself. It's self-awareness, right? But anybody that's in a higher track can go down and pay it forward to the other speakers. But we don't want the beginning speakers coming up in the higher tracks asking basic questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm not concerned about the level, because I think I have that level of skill. It's just that mechanism that this group is using to get where they need to go.
Yep.
So that's what I was asking about, the support.
Yeah, we're going to support you through it. You can hop on a call with me. My calendar's open. We got a great support team with Angela, Raymar, and Andrea. They all have worked as agents.
Okay.
Angela, let me bring it up. Let me not bury the lead. Angela ran an agency with Andrea, Liliana, and like two other people. We brought her agency. Said, hey, y'all doing well over there. Why don't y'all come and join SpeakerHub? I'll give all y'all a salary and everything, and Ange, it'll be worth it. I promise you, you can run the daggone thing. So Ange came over and became our director of operations, but she brought her agents with her. So they were doing our done for you, and they still do. So our customer support team is using the tool too. They're not, I ain't get training on it. No, they were using it to book people in the agency before we brought Ange inside. So most people don't know what I do. I buy companies. I just happen to have focused on the speaking industry. So I know how to get the right folks to put that in place.
Okay.
Right? So you'll have the best support. We'll help you with whatever you need. Any questions you have or anything.
Okay.
You can ask the people here. I mean,
okay.
They'll tell you.
Because I'm 70, the profile says I'm 70% of where it needs to be. But I also heard you mention Speaker Summit a couple of different times.
Yep.
What is that?
So the Pro Speaker Summit is our summit that's coming up. We actually today made a decision on changing the date, but it's virtual, so anybody can still come to it. I don't know if they changed the name to. And what is the name of this thing? I think it's this one. Nope. I still don't know the name of the login. 1 second. But it's the Pro Speaker Summit. Let me find the page.
It's in the chat. Maria just put it in the chat.
All right.
Oh, you're inside of it.
Let me see where it is. Maria, yeah, I got to figure out what the domain is, right? But here's the new summit. Here's the summit page. We had it originally scheduled for June the 6th through the 8th. We're going to push it back 2 weeks because we want to make sure that the product is ready. We thought about launching it with a waiting list and saying, hey, in 2 weeks it'll be available like Apple. But we're like, no, that's crap. Let's make it live. So it's going to take us a little bit more time to get the final parts, but that we're pushing this back a couple weeks. But this is where we're having speakers that have built products and coaching businesses using their speaking. Salvatore is one of our speakers. Melanie Spring. Reggie has barbecue sauce in 500 grocery stores, but he uses speaking to promote it. Right? John Diggs that you see there. He's going to tell how he's built his mind mapping community and how he's made that into a business of coaching and training around mind mapping, right? So this whole thing is about product. We need more products out there. Stephen Covey didn't just build a business on speaking. He sold some books, trainings. Tony Robbins, books, trainings, consulting. Simon Sinek, books, training, consulting. Mel Robbins, books, trainings, consulting. I can keep going. Lisa Nichols, books, trainings, consultings. They're not just selling their voice. They're not performers. So this is our reinforcing this. Now, why do we wait to go down this road? Well, we didn't want to tell you, here's the worst thing in the world. Y'all ever had somebody do this? All you got to do is, and then they don't have the solution. So what would we feel like? Hey, you all should be selling more courses, but go over to Teachable and use their complicated crap. Go over to Go High Level and use their complicated crap. Go to ClickFunnels. Then you got to attach that to an email thing. And then it's got a backflip and do. You're like, man, I ain't got time for all this. I just wanted to sell my $13 book. It's costing me $800 a month to sell a $13 book. So we're trying to simplify it. Is that fair? So we wanted to offer our platform. We wanted to provide you with the tools, right? So let me share this one thing really quickly. Hey guys, we're about to go into overtime, but I want to make sure y'all know that y'all are free to stay. I have 15 minutes today that I can spend in overtime. So we'll stay here for those 15 minutes extra. So here's the problem we're solving, Greg. Right now, to get a directory on most of these sites, they want $80. Then you got to go buy the podcast leads. Then you got to go get conference leads. Then you got to go get association leads. Then you got to go buy a CRM to put them in. And then you got to go pay for Chat GPT. And then you got to host your product someplace. Then you got to get coaching. This is going to show you how to coordinate and duct tape all this crap together. And then if you want to get feedback, you got to go get Talkerdot. All these, I know most of these people on here, they're my friends, but they sell a very specialized tool. What we wanted to be is this. Our average user is 55 years old. They ain't got time to be trying to connect this thing to this thing, to this thing, to this thing. You know what my mama say? Boy, I'm on a fixed income. I heard that all my life. Okay. When she talk about her pension and her 401k, she ain't trying to spend no extra money she don't need to be spending. I'm on a fixed income, so you need to make this work. So I got to listen and hear what y'all saying. Y'all really want to spend $1,200 a month to sell your $15 book? We don't. So if we can get you the platform to sell from for $30 and get you the traffic and the opportunities to get paid on the other side, give you access to that data at the same time, as much or as little as you want, then that's a win. Why? Because how many of y'all ever ran Facebook ads? Okay. How many of y'all ran Facebook ads successfully? Yeah, okay, there we go. There. There we go. There we go. That ain't as easy as they make it seem on TV. And Facebook don't get no refunds. You spend $500 over there, you ain't sell nothing. They like, try again. Right? But how many of y'all been on a podcast? Let me show you something, Greg. Greg, I'm going to show you some magic, okay? And let me pause this because we ain't made this public yet.